o'clock. It's time to rock. It's Brad and Andrew with the Rock Professor. We found the Rock Professor. There.
I'm on my holidays.
Is it true? Is it true that Englishmen of a certain vintage walk around Spain with mankinis on, or is that something that actually happens? Or
No.
no?
Certainly not. Not British men.
Oh, only
Tweeds. +4s, a tweed jacket, Mr. Walton. Of course. In 32 degrees of heat.
It must be, Brad, about 11:30 at night when they've had about 10 lagers or something like that when they start doing things like that, Brad.
Well, Simon, Andrew's been stalking the internet everywhere to try and find photos of you in Speedos on the beach.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't put my head on something else.
It's happening.
Photoshopping in a frankly hideous manner. Mr. Walton, how very dare you?
Oh, look, it's the Sunday show, ladies and gentlemen. It's the number one team. I'm here with the Rock Professor and Brad. We've got a couple of things that we want to talk to you guys about during the course of this. Probably, we said it last week, but this might be a really quick show because we're only doing 4 songs, but we've got a little bit to talk about though beforehand. Yeah. So I'm always happy and humbled to be here with you two guys. And once more, we're not going to do a big push because the Rock Professor is away, but when he comes back, we're going to do a bit of a big push about another milestone, Brad, for the channel that happened, I think, was it yesterday? So
yesterday, yeah.
Well, yes. I think Andrew, announce it. I mean, you've had a busy day today. Let's boast because while the
look at him go. yeah. I think we should say thank you to everyone who subscribed. 6,000 subscribers is and we've gone from 5 to 6 in about 2 weeks or something crazy, and it's just amazing and astonishing that so many people have subscribed, and that so many people have an interest in our little channel where we do our little stuff that we do. And I think it's really it's really humbling that for us that you guys are out there and think there's something worthwhile that we're doing. We try hard. So thank you all.
Yeah. Oh, you said it well. You said it well, Rock Professor, and Brad. The hard work that Brad and the Rock Professor provide, it's just fantastic. So I look forward, guys, to seeing what we can do and where we can go, and who knows what this channel can do.
We don't know yet, but fear of the unknown. But bring it on.
And this is Mr. Walton's 3rd show in about 6 hours. He's flagging not at all. More coffee. So hats off to you, Mr. Walton, for doing some tremendous shows this weekend as well. Really good. I've enjoyed them all. I haven't watched all of them, but I watched the Alan Garber one, and I've watched the one with KJ that was really cool. And I'm halfway through the Jim Bombas one, which is making me laugh a lot. If you take photographs of that, Jim, you'll be out.
Yeah. No, thank you, Simon. And
honestly,
one of the interesting things about when you do YouTube shows, guys, it's having to work around your hosts and working out a time that's going to meet everybody because everybody's got lives. And also trying to work out times with your hosts, with your guests who are in like 3 or 4 different time zones. So one thing that I've sort of realised here is that, Sunday morning or Saturday morning is always a good time for our North American guests anyway. So, because it's either a Friday evening or a Saturday evening for them. So, and look, the guests that we've had on, guys, and I know that Brad is busy working behind the scenes on some epic guests as well. So we're going to keep the lid on those, but stay tuned to what we're doing here, and Brad will announce something soon within the next couple of weeks. He's working on something
exciting.
Yeah. So we got plenty coming on.
Yeah. So I just say, to Alan Garber, John Conklin, Holly, thanks for coming on, Holly. Last we got you on, fantastic. That was really good. It was all those people who help make this channel what it is, and our thing is everyone's got a story, and I think we've that again has been proved this weekend. You've all got great stories to tell, things that have happened to you, your musical journeys. I think it's it's really great that we get you on to talk about those things. And as I say, and people like Alan and John are, they're they're right up there, aren't they, in terms of what they know and their sort of professional abilities in this area is fantastic. So to have them as channel alumni, I think is amazing. Really, they consider us, worthy of their attention. It's fantastic.
Do you like this? Do you like that comment?
Nobody scores it like Brad. Absolutely.
We're a family show, and I'm thinking family things, ladies and gentlemen, with that comment.
Only family things, always. No, I'll stand by everything the Rock Professor said there, and I'm not going to double up on everything that you've said.
No.
And Simon, but look, a big congratulations to everyone involved, including you guys in the chat and everyone who helps grow the channel. So it's always blows my mind to think that we're getting 13,000 views on a particular show. It blows my mind that we've got 6,000 subscribers now. When I joined, we were under 1,000. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
When you joined, bro, we were under 500.
Yeah,
we were under 500. So one little thing that I'll share with you guys. It was approximately in 2 days' time, a year ago, Brad and I and Hoss did the 666 show. When we turned 666 subscribers, we ranked Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. That was approximately. Well, exactly this week, 12 months ago.
We now need Iron Maiden to make an album called 7,000 something. Then we could do that.
777.
Dear Mr. Dickinson, could you see your way clear too?
But it helps, guys, though, when guys like Alan Garber, for example, who's been around the Led Zeppelin community for 30 years, when he shares our links on some of those Led Zeppelin groups that and Brad, these people that he's been talking with for a long time, and tells them, look, go and support these guys and subscribe, and then we get the subscriptions after he sends us a message, because he's cool. Alan Garber as an example. That's humbling. It's humbling 100%. For the channel.
Yeah, it is. If he thinks we're worthy, and that's fantastic accolade for us, I think. Really is. Yeah.
It's great to know that people like Alan will come on our channel and give his wealth of knowledge and share the channel and share the links and share it around. It's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it is really cool. I'm humbled by that myself. I think that that if people think that, as Andrew, you always say, we're fans. We talk about it as fans and things, but if other people get a kick off of that, and and maybe people listen to our show about albums they've not heard and go away and investigate them a bit, I think that would be fantastic if that happens a little bit, also. But and people like Alan and John Conklin, who know shed loads more than I'll ever know about everything, if they think we're worthy, and I think that's a real accolade for us, really. Fantastic. Yeah,
it just means, guys, for my two co-hosts, because I know that we're talking about Alan. So the next one that we do with Alan, we're going to talk about Led Zeppelin 2, and he made a point of saying, he'd love the Rock Professor and Brad to be on that show. Yeah. So. And of course, and I just want to qualify this, guys. The only reason why the Rock Professor and Brad aren't on all of them is because these guys have got lives. They've got work to do, and people to see, and food to eat, and all this kind of stuff. So that's
sandcastles to build.
Yeah. So that's the only reason. So if you hear of any other reason, it's bullshit.
No, 100%. The only reason you don't see myself speaking for myself on an episode is because I've got something on, whether it be a gig or I've got an appointment or I've got something to do with my girlfriend that I've planned, and then all of a sudden the show pops up, and I'd rather than upset too many people.
Don't do that. No, there's this show, and then there's real life, and we all have to. I think the great thing about this show is that none of us feel like we need to be on everything, do we?
Cool.
That's the really cool bit. Is I don't. I think we come on the things that are suitable for. I'm as everyone knows, I'm not particularly a Van Halen person. Therefore, it's like there's no point. You guys do the Van Halen thing. Get some sensible people on to do that, and I won't clutter it up. I think that's a really sensible thing, and I feel nothing but pleasure in the fact that things happen without me as much as they happen with me. This is my show. This is what I do. And I love coming on with Alan and all those other people. But for me, the thing is that, it carries on, and it's not all about one person. It's about, the shows, and you get the different people on to talk about the different things. I think that's really ideal. But they're regular people as well.
Yeah. And if people aren't aware of this, we'll say it again. And this might be for people that are watching the show later on. Brad and the Rock Professor and I have realised, because we've been doing this for a little while, that the magic number is 3 or 4. Very seldom are you going to get on our show more than 6 or 8 people. We'll do that at our end of year show, Brad, which we love. Yeah. And we've also done that for the Eddie Van Halen anniversaries, haven't we? But generally speaking, we like to have one guest, 2 hosts, or 3 hosts at the most, so that our guests get an opportunity to talk, Brad and Simon.
Can I just say, Andrew, like watching the one with Alan this morning and the previous ones you've done with Alan, where it's just been you two, the flow is really good and it works really well. And as much as I want to be part of it, I could have jumped in the tail end of the one this morning, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow. It was really good. So sometimes you don't need that extra person there to sit there and interrupt the flow of the show either. So, but no, great show this morning, and I'm halfway through the last one you did, the 5150 show.
Awesome. But he did make a point though that we've got to all get together for Led Zeppelin 2, and I know why, because he knows that you're a Les Paul nut. He knows that you're so and he made a point of that. So having that perspective, from coming from your playing perspective over the years of trying to learn these riffs and play these riffs, is going to give that credibility. I think that sometimes some of our shows have, because we do have guitar players, and that makes a difference.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. That'd be great.
We've got a couple of shout-outs. Who's going to do the first shout-out? Rock Professor, and then Brad, and then the Rock Professor is going to do a shout-out to everyone in the chat. Is that how we're going to do it?
I certainly am. Yep. So we should say this week, 45 years ago, Elvis died in 1977. I wonder if you can remember where you were when Elvis died. I can as well, actually. I can. So 45 years ago, he was only 42 when he died. So he's been dead for longer than he was alive.
Wow.
Salutary lesson to us all. But still king of rock and roll.
Still extremely popular too.
Yeah.
Probably
I think it's
more popular now than before. So
yeah, I think for me the weird thing is that you can't feel how seismic he was from this far away. You don't feel, because I wasn't born when in 1956. When he first, that kind of seismic, those appearances on the Tonight Show. It kind of Tonight Show.
Yes, he was, ladies and gentlemen. He's just being modest.
That wasn't alive then. That was minus 2 years.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
But that, and that thing about not filming him below the waist and all those things, you cannot imagine, I think, that kind of a world where we had such a seismic effect on clearly the clearly America, but also the world, and I think it's, those reverberations are still happening now across the universe. But I still think it's as we get further away, it's difficult because the world is so disparate now that you can't, it doesn't work like that anymore. There's nothing that has that kind of seismic cultural impact in a way that he did, and and everything else comes after him. I know this before and after, and I'm simplifying it, but I think that it's just worth reminding ourselves about how seismic that was. And then what came off the back of it is everything that we talk about on this show, and it all goes back to those, not only Elvis in the 50s, clearly, but, to that kind of seismic, when the world went from black and white to color, with Elvis and rock and roll, teenagers having money, and then the 60s, which is
and Elvis has a special connection with Brad too, if people aren't aware. People aren't aware of... If you want to let the people know, Brad, what that special Elvis connection is that you have.
Well, hey, listen, my son's name's Elvis.
Thank you, Peppy. Excellent.
I was actually...
I actually thought it was the fact that some promoter begged you to become a... So apparently Brad was mucking around on stage impersonating Elvis, and this promoter said, "Oh my God, there's a star here. Oh my gosh." Ran up to Brad and said, "Come with me, I'm going to make you a star." And Brad said, "I'm only going to wear the 68 tour gear, nothing else. I'm not going to wear those white jumps." And the guy said, "Mate, that's not negotiable, bro."
Pulled out
the leather suit. Yes, God.
It's half true. What Andrew said, half true. I was doing a Doors tribute band and doing the Jim Morrison. Someone asked me to do an Elvis Presley impersonation for a show, and I declined because I didn't think I could do all the moves properly and all that stuff. And the jumpsuit, I just said I can't do it. I can't wear the jumpsuit. Good story.
Let's see. Oh, Dave, exposed a secret thing now, Brad. We're all in trouble.
Thanks, Andrew. Now I'm going to get, when people talk about my music, Elvis impersonator.
But and obviously your boy called Elvis too. That's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
45 years ago. Rest in peace, Elvis.
And we should also say happy birthday to a man who's influenced by Elvis in so many ways, the great Robert Plant, 74. On the 20th, which was yesterday, which I realised only yesterday, was the same day as my dad's birthday. But my dad's also had his birthday on August the 20th. So, and I hadn't realised that until yesterday. Oh!
The golden god himself, happy birthday. Yeah. That's
and Robert Plant.
Well, that's Robert Plant. But also Glenn Hughes, Deep Purple, Daisies, Black Country Communion. Happy birthday. 70 years of age. Unbelievable. Still performing and still singing like a you know, a 30-year-old man. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Birthday, Glenn.
Glenn Hughes. You know, one of my son's favourite singers, actually, Glenn Hughes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. So hopefully that's all the people we need to catch up with, I think.
Yeah,
good. So I'll do a little shout out to the people in the chat, because there's quite a few, 10 people in the chat. So Digital Guitars UK, good morning, Digital. Jazz Thunder 50, morning, Jim. How you doing? Gretch Zeppelin, thank you, Gretch, for that. Ellen Toll as well. Good morning, Ellen. Still with your new name, not your old name. Gretch Zeppelin. I don't know who twice. Who else we got here? Just under digital. Arvin, of course. Arvin Gaunt. Good morning, Arvin. How are you? Hope you're good. Nelson Rodriguez, the mighty Nelson Rodriguez, on all the shows. Well done, Nelson. I don't know when you sleep, but it's just, and Hugh Caldwell as well, who would love to come on. So, Hugh, message Andrew. I know you're a bit of a music maker, so that would be cool to have you on. Really cool.
Absolutely.
Message Andrew 100%. And we'll message Andrew and Will, and we can organise that, because that would be great fun to do that. And thanks, Crappy Luxury. Thank you, Crappy. Yes, of course, it was the Ed Sullivan show, not the Tonight Show. What was I thinking? Not thinking. But anyway, thank you for that. It reminded me. Will Varela. Good morning, Will.
Hey, Will.
Digital Guitars UK. So I think that's all the people who've commented. I hope I didn't miss anybody. So morning to you all. Thanks for Teresa as well. Teresa's here as well. So fantastic to see you all, and I hope you're all good.
Awesome.
As everyone's shouted out in the chat, good.
Awesome. And if you guys haven't already done it, would be grateful if you could share our this video link on your social media accounts, and ask your friends to check us out and subscribe. We'd appreciate that, and we will sub back. If you're watching on a replay, go and check out our back catalogue, check out some videos. Brad and I and the Rock Professor have got some good stuff there that you might find interesting. Go and subscribe to some channels on our page, in particular Brad's got a channel there, so start subbing to Brad's channel. And on the bottom also, guys, you'll see some Instagram accounts there. There's my one, there's the Rock Professors and Brad, so go and subscribe over there, and just help the channel. All we want is subs. You sub to us, we'll sub back to you.
Back.
That's what we do here, that's a fair deal. So guys, what we've decided that we'll do this week, because the Rock Professor is on location doing vacation things, there was an EP that came out around the time of these, the sessions with Robert Johnson. It's a 4-track EP, so we decided that we'll just talk about the 4 tracks, rank them, and Brad will probably use this show as a bit of an introduction to doing a fuller DVD ranking on this, because I've got my opinion on what I think of the DVD, and we can probably incorporate that in the introduction. But this came out after Me and Mr. Johnson, the album, when I've got the album over there somewhere. And what was quite interesting, guys, in my research, when I was doing some research for this, I didn't read a lot of reviews back in the early 2000s. I had the pip with a lot of rock journalists for a long time, because they weren't reporting truthfully, and they were just regurgitating the crap that was out there in the 60s, 70s and 80s, Simon. We've discussed this at length, haven't we? So I didn't read a lot of reviews, but I didn't realise actually that the Me and Mr. Johnson album, Brad, when it came out, according to some of the recognised experts, they didn't rate that highly. But the fans did. But this DVD, the film, when the film came out, that took it into another orbit, Simon. Is that your is that something that you guys have come across in your research as well?
Well, I was interested about how many it sold. To be honest, this is not 2004. I just had my second daughter, so I think I was otherwise occupied by doing other stuff, doing baby stuff. So I don't have a particularly vivid memory of this when it came out and stuff. So it's been really great to go back to the EP and kind of and get into it. But I mean, I was just reading the sort of chart performance, selling 20,000 copies and stuff, or 200,000 copies. It was amazing, really, that it sold a lot of copies, very quickly, and clearly was very. And I think it's interesting to look at it in the light of Nothing But the Blues, isn't it? As a kind of contrast a bit to Nothing But the Blues.
I'm glad you mentioned that, and I think we should talk about that. We'll talk about that. But Brad, did you have any kind of idea of this? Were you listening to this in 2004? Did you get the DVD line? Okay.
Not this one, the digipack, the CD and the DVD, and I was a fan of it. I wasn't quite aware what the reviews were of it either. I paid very little, if at all, any attention to reviews, because 9 times out of 10, anything that I thought was amazing, everyone else thought was crappy, or the reviews that I read of it were always negative, and it tarnished it for me. But for me, I just basically bought that without even hearing it, because I love Eric Clapton, and as my rankings will probably allude to, the fact I'm a very big fan of this. And I think Eric, at this particular point in his career, was probably one of the most amazing blues singers around.
Oh, look, I agree with you, and I think that shows on some of these songs. Simon, I don't know about you, if when you actually saw the video footage, but this is a theme that we continue to talk about, isn't it, on this show? We love the fact that these guys are recording and playing live, and we get that on these, and a lot of these tracks are available on YouTube for you to go and have a look too. Unfortunately, it's not available for a digital download, but you just can't beat the power of these guys, because they're recording this in the studio with the mics and all that, and it's just fantastic, Simon.
Yeah, absolutely. It does add the dimension, doesn't it? Being able to see the people playing off each other, interacting, and seeing, for us, seeing what they're doing, how they're doing it, and things. And I think we get into that a bit of what sort of gear stuff. I don't know if you've got any info on the kind of gear things, but as I say, clearly it's very exciting, and of course it's that thing of we are in the era where everything is filmed, isn't it, as well as recorded. I've been sorry to cut you off, Simon, but no, that's right.
I have to very much highlight that this was recorded live.
Correct.
There's no overdubs, there's no fixing vocal takes, there's nothing. It's a band in a room, despite the fact that there's some solo acoustic performance and a duet, but the band, when the band's playing together, they were doing 1 or 2 takes, and that was it. That was it, baby. There was no fixing, nothing. They set up in a room. Eric had the big condenser mic sitting over the top, so he's singing into it as he's playing, like they were performing on stage. And we go on about how live performances, there's always an energy there because of the crowd, the way the crowd receives the music. So it's like this whole energy transfer back and forth between the band and the crowd. But there's no crowd here. There's camera crew, and none of them are cheering, so they're just playing. And it just goes to show how amazing each individual in that performance of the band in the room together, how amazing they are. Because it was non-negotiable. There was no mistakes allowed. It was play. Yeah.
you get the sense of that, don't you? When Eric counts the band in, you can see he's very, So the ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with it, they're like talking there a little bit, and then he goes, "Come on," and then he counts the band, and they're all, they all stop talking, and then bang, counts them in, and then they're off. Yeah, it's fascinating. And Brad and Simon, what I like particularly about it, and you mentioned it before, Simon, you see the mechanics. You can see Doyle playing slide. You can see Clapton, his technique, that plucking technique when he's doing playing the acoustic guitars. It's right in your face, guys.
That's one in the rankings I've mentioned in one of the songs that you can see, Eric's assertiveness to get the songs to like started, and there's no mucking around for Eric. If you're working with Eric, you got to be on the mark.
Business.
And when he plays the solo acoustic stuff, you're basically watching him playing all parts together with his hand. Like his right hand is an instrument within itself.
Yes,
it's very percussive, and he's playing bass lines with his thumb, and he does upstrokes to get that real. Like just the way he does it. And I know guitarists or Diamond doesn't, and a lot of people play with their fingers and finger pick and stuff like that, but Eric does it quite uniquely. And I've never really seen anyone do it like Eric with his right hand on an acoustic.
I just want to just quickly jump in and back Brad up, because only this week I've learnt to play, after 30 years of trying, of Travis picking, of using my thumb, on the bottom E, and then going to the D string, and then doing plucks with my other fingers, because most guitars we just strum. But Brad is right. When Eric Clapton is playing, he's not doing Travis. He's doing something completely unique to his own style.
Yeah, it's an adaptation. Yeah.
Can you show us? Is there any way you can? Do you know? Can you do it?
I would love to, but my right hand isn't quite right.
It's not quite. Okay, fair enough. That's all right.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, so his right hand, he's playing the bass with
the
his
bass
thumb.
notes with his thumb.
Yes.
And he's
and he brushes up.
And he brushes up with the chords. So you could do, like if you watch, he brushes down or up with his thumb, but all upstrokes to get a particular strumming feel, which is very Robert Johnson, because that din 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 din, that's all upstrokes, yeah. So. I know it sounds a bit geeky to the people who don't play guitar, but it is one of those things where if I had an acoustic, I could probably try it, but I can't do it like Eric does either, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it like Eric. I have to admit, and it's always amazed me when I've watched him in live performances when he does play without a pick with the right hand, but this particular performance, like they close up on it. So you can almost study how he does it. Correct. And you see on this, like, because I know we're doing the EP, but the whole DVD of this one, when he's doing the solo songs in session 4, they close up a lot. But before he starts the song, he warms up on pieces, the hard tune, and then he goes, "Are we right? Okay," and he starts, yeah. And the professional side of Eric is very apparent when they press the red button. He's on the money. He knows what he's got to do, and he gets the job done. And
what's really interesting about that warm up noodle that he does too, it's completely different from the song. That warm up stuff that he's doing, it's nothing to do with. There's no riff in the song, so it's just. And I bet you do that, Brad and Simon, when you grab your guitar. I bet you've got your warm-up riff that you guys do.
Always, yep. I've got my signature stuff I don't use in any song except before it.
Listen to him, warm-ups. What are you talking about? I've an hour and a half of pulling my fingers to try and make them work in some semblance. Oh, it's my warm-up riff, man.
Oh
dear. Interestingly, Hugh Caldwell says it's similar pattern to Mexican rhythms. Right. You can come on and explain more about that, because that's interesting.
It's funny. I won't give too much away. It's in my rankings and stuff. But it's funny. There's a little discussion between Dole Bramall and Eric Clapton. And Clapton's, that's not how he does it. So a couple of
him and Doyle are having that conversation. That's not how he does it. He don't play it like that.
He's laughing, and he's going, "It is." He's going, "No, it's not." He's going, "Yeah." It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
the age-old argument between guitarists. He's not playing like that.
That's not how he does it.
That's not how he does it. He does.
Can I say something though? I have to say. How amazing is Dole Bramall II? Like in this DVD in particular, he's like plays so well with Eric. He's like, it's his right hand man. He knows what to do, what not to do, and when Eric's singing and just chugging along that rhythm, he's filling out all the spacey bits with the slide. His slide playing is amazing. And especially in the duo, when they're doing the two acoustics together, you can really see how well Doyle works with Eric. Because Eric, there's no drum keeping him in time, nothing. It's Eric's feet just tapping on the ground. But it's almost like they're synced together. It's amazing. And that's quite difficult to do if there's no backbeat. Or it's like, because let's be honest, the Robert Johnson stuff, the tempos vary. They're not constant, the same tempo all the way through. Eric changes the tempo and he's right on top of it. I noticed that a lot through watching it a few times this week. I was like, I couldn't stop watching Dole Bramall play because I kept saying, this guy's just incredible the way he just locks in with Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just an amazing thing to watch, but yeah, that's I found that watching this again was really, really eye-opening, because I haven't watched it for a long time, guys, and it was just amazing to watch. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
We'll start doing the rankings shortly. So. John ZD351's got some an interesting comment there where he listened to it, and it's very close to the original arrangements. Yeah, look, and we can talk about that, John. And if you want to get yourself familiar with the fuller DVD, when we plan that and you want to come on and be part of that show, give us a yell. We'd love to have you on when we talk about that. I'd love to get you on. But any other comments, Simon, that you want to make in our intro before we crack off?
I think I'd say that in general, that clearly this is Robert Johnson is Eric's happy place, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's where one of the pillars of his blues existence is Robert Johnson, and I think it comes through in this, completely. That it's one of, he clearly holds him in huge esteem, highest esteem. And and I think that clearly making an album of his songs is a testament to that. But I do feel it's Eric's, having gone through all those kind of 80s things and stuff, and he comes back to his happy place, which is the blues, and people like Robert Johnson, particularly one of those pillars of his blues existence. And it's kind of where he is now, isn't it? It's what he does now, is play blues, which is what he does. He's accepted the fact he's a bluesman. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I've got a quick question, Andrew. If I show some video footage without audio, will that flag the YouTube clip or not?
Well, look, I suppose what we would do is people now at least would be able to get an opportunity to see it. If there is an issue with it when it goes back onto the channel, we can always edit that out.
What I'll do,
so we can play it now.
I've got something on no audio, but it'll just show his technique if you want.
Okay.
I'll press play.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant, Brad. That's fantastic.
I'll try and get it so you can see, okay? Here you go. You watch his right hand. Highlight hand.
Sorry, brother.
There we are.
Yeah. See that?
He's right over the neck too. He's not over the sound hole. If you watch, they do more close-ups, but you see his hand there. But they do more close-ups throughout the song.
There we are. Yeah, it's that sweeping up thing, isn't it? Yeah, with almost like a flat hand, isn't it? Like a flat hand.
And down on the bass note when the bass note needs to be done, he's doing that with his thumb. So it's quite a unique technique. Not a lot of players play like that, and they're not going to show anymore, unfortunately, by the looks of it. But there we go.
Oh, that's really cool, Brad. Well done. Thanks for doing that. That's I think it's always worth looking to see what he's doing.
So,
it's interesting.
Andrew, chop that bit out if you need to.
No, that's fine. No, that's we're not going to have an issue with that. It's just the what is it? The music that YouTube don't like. Yeah.
So to explain that technique, but you've really got to listen to what he's doing with his hand to understand what he's doing. Yeah, because his left hand syncs up with what he's doing with his right hand.
For sure. Yeah. But no, I think it's also really good that thing about you doing it, and then almost like keeping your hand flat and sweeping your fingers up is that's really worth it. And as you say, up the neck and not over the sound hole.
Yes, over the top of the neck, the very what I call the top, not the bottom. Some people call that the bottom.
No, that's the top, and that's anyway.
Just in front of the sound hole, gets a warmer tone too. And that, if anyone wants to know, Hendrix played a lot of stuff like Little Wing and Wing Cries Mary and all that on the actual neck of the guitar, not necessarily on the pickups.
Digital Guitars is making a similar comment too, a bit like the Texas style Stevie Ray Vaughan, Pride and Joy, same. Yeah. So. Yep. Yeah, interesting. Thank you, Brad, for showing that. So that's one of the things that we love talking about, and especially when we've got examples of the mechanics. It's a unique style, and jeepers, most of the guitar players and musicians we talk about and follow guys are unique, aren't they? So,
well, I got inspired, and I'm definitely, as much as I'm having a lot of trouble with my right hand still, might be a good opportunity for me to try using my right hand a little bit more and get more function by practicing something similar to that. That's what I'm going to try anyway. Just with my acoustic and sit there and do it. It's these things are inspirational to me when I watch guys like this that have been doing it for 40 years plus, and it's interesting to watch some of the conversation he has about Robert Johnson, his passion, how much passion he has for the music and the man himself, but how he talks about how his career, there's alignments in that he felt with his alienating himself and all sorts of things. So, but it's interesting. There's one little section where the interviewer says, about his singing, and he goes, "It's taken 30 years for me to get to a point where I'm comfortable to sit with an acoustic guitar and sing to a theater full of people." So it's
and another thing too that I think we should also talk about, guys, too, in relationship to this package that we're talking about. Eric, in his biography, felt once he did this, Brad and Simon, once he did this project in the film, he felt like for once that his debt to Robert Johnson had been paid.
That's interesting.
Well, yeah. Well, that's interesting. He says that because he cops a lot of slack from people that don't like him about him, being
appropriating.
From the. But all blues artists do it. It's not just Robert. It's not just Robert Johnson. Poached as well. He got ideas from his peers. Yeah, and same as Eric Clapton. Same as well, look at Led Zeppelin. It wasn't that they were stealing. It was just they were influenced. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you only got to go into the history of songs, haven't you? As soon as you start looking at the history of songs, you realise how convoluted and difficult, who actually wrote this is, or whether somebody did a version that was this, and then somebody else took that and made it into this and made something else out of it, or whatever. I think those things are very, very difficult. Sorry, I'm being put off by one of my fellow inhabitants. Troublemaker.
No problem.
She's called Ruby Harold. Don't tell her I said so, but she's an Olympian.
Okay.
She went to the Rio Olympics.
Okay.
See?
Wow.
There you go.
Don't tell her I said so.
But
sorry.
Look, a lot of blues artists do re-record people's songs. Everyone from ZZ Top to Eric Clapton to just about every artist that you can think of that's in the blues will have 2 or 3 covers per album, because that's just what you do as a blues artist. Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. And you recycling what's already come before and try and make it your own, don't you? That's the thing. That just seems to be a tradition and everything, but particularly the blues, I think, there's always that tradition, isn't there? Recycling, reusing, changing this, made it into that. Yeah.
We should. Do you want to get on to you got anything else you want to talk about, guys, before we hit the rankings, or you want to talk about what you did this week, Simon, or what you've been up to, or anything like that, or you want to get straight into the rankings?
I think we should go into the rankings.
We'll get stuck into the rankings. And like I say, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on replay, we're not doing the full DVD or the CD. We're talking about the EP, and this is a primer for the big show that we do. We've been talking about this for a long time. So I've got the fortunate position, ladies and gentlemen, to be number 1 in the rankings, followed by the Rock Professor, and then Brad is going to give us his conclusion on this. It's always a debate and issue about second and third when it's not your pick, because someone's always got to go third.
Yeah, I think it should have been me, because I'm on holiday.
Even more of the reason that you go second, so I'm going to get
thank you. Yes, thank you.
Hey,
What else have you been doing, Williams? If you haven't been working, just been lazing about by the pool. For God's sake, of hours.
Lazing around the pool in your Speedos getting a tan, What's that?
And all right, back to work. All right, Speedos, Mankini. Oh my gosh. All right, back to work.
What a terrifying thought that is.
Sweet Home Chicago.
Hey, guys, it's clickbait. It's clickbait, all right?
I'll show the clickbait later. Sweet Home Chicago. Look, it's a song that's been covered by a lot of people, hasn't it? We're familiar with a lot of versions. I'm sure my co-hosts might even talk about some of their other favourite versions that other artists have done. But this is always one of my favourite versions. It was the first song that I played when Carl and I got together. We jammed to this song. I don't know how many times I've covered this song. It's in E, it's a standard blues. Everyone can play it. During the organ riffs, you can still jam along and play your guitar. For me, guys, God bless Billy Preston. Billy Preston, the power that he has on the keyboards, that dynamic that he provides, that punch on this song, just gives it that fluffy elevation. I think that the song wouldn't have had. Would have been a great song without Billy Preston. But, we're a fan of Billy Preston. We talk about him fondly. He contributed to George Harrison's brilliant album. He also helped, the Beatles. So he's got that credibility, Brad, hasn't he, of coming in and that laid-back attitude. And it shows, doesn't it, in this film, the way that he just It's just effortless. Interesting too, in my research, guys, he passed away only 2 years after this project. You know, so 2004, 2005, about 2006. So, you know, a bit of a tragedy. But I think this is probably one of the best legacies that he's left, you know, as far as a blues project goes. It will always be Billy Preston for me on this song. Love the guitaring, though. You know, it's got that punch there that I love. But Brad and Simon, you know, I'm giving it a worthy 9 out of 10. And I'm happy with that. Rock Professor.
Yeah, it's a great swingy version of it, isn't it? It's what's interesting to me is that it's the comparison between Nothing But the Blues and this, in terms of the way that you can hear all the instruments very clearly, can't you? They're kind of spread out in the mix. You know, you can hear, if you want to pick out the bass or the piano or the organ, there's a little space in which they're all in, and it's that kind of doesn't quite have that kind of integration that Nothing But the Blues has in terms of sound, that you can either like more or less. It's just, to me, it's just noticeable. I don't mind which it is. I agree with you about Billy Preston, channeling Jimmy Smith. I always think with those kind of organ stabs and flourishes and things that as you elevate it, don't they? They really elevate it. It's almost like a sort of second instrument that plays, you know, bounces off the guitar. That he does doing that, and no one better than Billy Preston for raising the elevating your song to another plane by doing it, as he did with the Beatles and stuff.
Yep.
You know, as we've seen, fantastic. I think Eric's in great voice. You know, sings really well. You know, as I say, I like the mix of it very much. It's very much in that Chicago blues tradition. Interestingly, you'll get a solo, don't they? It goes around organ solo first, then guitar solo. And Brad, you can answer this question. The guitar sounds very kind of rounded. Is he playing that on the neck pickup? Is it neck pickup stuff he's playing, or is it just the way that the guitar sounds? Because it didn't sound to me like it had that classic kind of, you know, bridge pickup, you know, Fender to it. Well, yeah, it was a descriptive word.
Clapton does use the neck pickup quite a bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's on the neck. But he also uses the middle position quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
And, but that particular guitar, especially the Clapton signature Strats, do have that dB boost, and he could have that on a little bit, just to get a thicker tone. So, so to answer your question, it's a bit hard to work out 100% how he's getting that tone without knowing, you know, whether he's got the dB boost up, the TBX control fixed position or whatever. But no, he's always got a very bell-like tone with those Strats because of the way that the active pickups are, or the active dB boost is in there.
Yeah. I've never played it myself, so I don't know exactly how it affects the tone, you know, when you're doing it stuff, and which pickup what it actually does. But it as I say, it clearly has that kind of slightly rounded, kind of slightly more mellow tone. And I'd wondered if, you know, what pickup he was using, and which pickup, and then which he was using, because he doesn't use the in between stuff, Eric, does he? Is that right? He only uses the three positions.
A lot. They used to use the quack tone a lot with the back and middle together. A lot. But, you know, in the 2000s, I think he spent a lot of time on the neck or in the middle. That middle position now he uses a lot more than any of the other positions live, I've noticed. So it just, I think it's most of the time, you know, he might be in that middle or bridge or somewhere there. You know,
Digital said
together. But yeah, he is a neck pickup guy, that's for sure. He hits it a lot, especially that 24 nights, and he's hit that neck pickup a lot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's digital guitar says spot on, Brad. Mostly on the fourth position on the 5-way switch on a Strat. But Jim says, and I'm sure I've seen a recent rig rundown where Clapton now only has a 3-position pickup switch. He doesn't have the 5.
Right, yeah, because he
just goes from one pickup to the other.
He sits in the middle position a lot these days, from memory. watching all the footage I've watched of him lately.
Yeah,
Clapton's one of those guys who just plugs in and plays, mate, and he's got his guitar to give a full sound regardless because of that dB boost and everything and the TBX control. So
because he's Eric. There's that lovely description of when he goes to play with Joe Bonamassa at the Royal Albert Hall, and Joe Bonamassa said he turned up by himself with a tweed Fender, whatever, deluxe or whatever, and his signature guitar, brand new, still with the labels on, plugged straight in, just played. Look, it's Eric, and that was it. I think he more or less, I don't know, the intimation was that he actually carried the amp himself and just turned up, amp in one hand, guitar in the other, put it on a stand, and he's ready.
Mind you, this is at Royal Albert Hall too.
Well, it's his second home, surely. So it feels very home. But
it's not like walking up to a pub gig with your little practice amp or combo and a guitar.
Yeah,
it's Royal Albert Hall.
I know, but it's all about the miking, apparently. I don't know, but I love the idea that he just turns up with a tweed amp and a guitar and plugs in. But so that was interesting. So I really like the sound of it as well. I thought that kind of slightly rounded sound on it, the guitar was really cool. And again, I agree, Andrew. 9 out of 10, never a skip. A really good opening. Does the song justice, and as I say, fine version of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brad.
All right. Well, for me, Sweet Home Chicago. Look, at the start of this song in particular, this is where you see how Eric definitely runs the show. He's the boss, and he shows his assertiveness at points to get the song started. I think it's a great version of the song. I've put here Billy Preston, really a highlight in the song for me. But you got to give it to Nathan East and Steve Gadd. They're tight and solid as a rock in all the songs they're part of. I put Billy's solo, Doyle's solo, Chris's solo on the piano. All fantastic. Eric comes in very aggressively on his guitar when he's playing his solo. But the highlight for me and a lot of these songs is Eric's vocal. And he dominates with his voice, and I love when he pushes like he does at certain points in this song. I love the tone of his voice. He may not rate himself as a vocalist, but for me, he's probably one of my favorite top 3, top 5 blues singers of all time. So, this particular performance especially, he owns it when it comes to the vocals. So well done, Eric. For that alone, I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. It's never a skip for me.
Awesome. I think you've hit the nail on the head there when he comes in, cracks that whip, and it's like, bang, that band, that hot band. And one thing that's really important, I think, for us to point out, guys, is that's the band that he took to Crossroads too, isn't it? So Nathan East has been playing with him for a long time, and Steve Gadd, so... they know when the boss is, yeah. I'd hate to see. Well, actually, wouldn't it be interesting to see some footage when they cock it up?
Well,
I bet they don't.
There's funny footage. There's funny footage of Eric cocking it up a couple of times, and he's like,
yes. Yes. Yeah.
If the boss cocks it up, that's okay. But if anyone else does, they're out.
Yeah. I can't see Nathan East, Steve Gadd, or any of those cocking it up at all, could you? I mean, only as you say, he's had those musicians for so long, isn't he? Those same musicians, he's got Andy Fairweather Low on this. Is kind of, they've just played with him forever, haven't they?
I love how, you see them all mucking around at the start. He drives up, he rocks up in his Porsche, his daily driver.
Where are they?
Are they they're all inside. Nathan East is playing Popeye the Sailor Man on his bass, and they're all mucking around. And then when the boss walks in, they all go, game on.
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it? Because that crane, because obviously the camera, ladies and gentlemen, it's above, and he rocks up. Yeah, Brad's hit the nail on the head. So it's a great video. We could talk about this for hours, but we've got a show coming up.
Look at that. We spent an hour getting to track 2 on an EP. Honestly, Mr. Walton, language.
Terraplane Blues is the second track, so this is a wow moment for me. It's a wow moment. Just unbelievable, Brad and Simon. I remember when I first heard this, it was pivotal, and I'll tell you why. Those high notes that Clapton gets, and Brad mentioned it a couple of times. He mentioned it in his intro, and he mentioned it in the previous song about Clapton's vocals. You know, he's got no one behind him backing this. He's got the confidence that he's got. And we've got another song to talk about too where he's just doing something similar. But the high notes that he gets on this, and if you go and listen to Robert Johnson's version, it's completely in vogue. And, you know, it dovetails Robert Johnson's version. The dobro, you know, we always talk about how great Clapton is, a guitar player, as a rhythm player, you know, and Brad showed us some clips there of him playing, you know, his unique finger style. Well, he's just playing the dobro on this, like, and it was because of this and this album, Brad, that I went and got this dobro because I had to make that sound myself. Brad and Simon, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to talk about this. The vocals for me are the standout. This is 10 out of 10, Simon.
Yeah. It's a fantastic song as well, isn't it? It's Robert Johnson. I was always fascinated. You know, the word terraplane is just an interesting word, isn't it? It's not, you know, you think about blues just being about, you know, my woman left me and stuff like that, and then, you know, then you have this appearance, this very unusual word, terraplane, as a, you know, in a thing. I like it. I like that sort of thing. It intrigues me as to where Robert Johnson found the word terraplane and things, because it just seems out of orbit from a, you know, a country blues player from the south. I could be wrong, but
a terraplane, car, yeah, it's a car. So obviously, you know, when he was shunting around Texas or something like that, he's seen a terraplane, and wow, you know, Eddie Cochran sung songs about that girl's fine looking, man, she's something else, and then the next verse is, wow, look at that car, you know, yeah. I love it.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's again the two acoustics. I think that, you know, they meld beautifully. You know, they play together, and then there is a point where Eric kind of plays a cross rhythm to what I presume it's Doyle Bramwell is playing as well. They kind of so it has that kind of offbeat thing that's really interesting. To, you know, again, it's just one of those subtle kind of dynamic things changes that, and there's also that bit where they just get into a slightly more swingy rhythm for a couple of lines, which I think is really cool. It's a bit more kind of sleazy. Eric gets a bit more kind of sleazy in it, but I think it's a fantastic version of it from me, and I think it's interesting. You go from full band to acoustic, you know, and clearly the way they've set it up is full band acoustic on the full, not giving anything away for the end, but so 10 out of 10 for me. Never a skip. Fantastic version of the song. Eric's in fine voice and playing, you know, and those twin guitars, acoustic guitars are fantastic. The way they mesh and then not mesh. Brad.
Yeah, look, I love this, and look, this is obviously part of, you know, the sessions that I've gone back to at session 2, and I will note that this was recorded at 508 Park Avenue, Dallas in Texas, which is where all Robert Johnson's sessions were recorded. So for them to actually do it in that location was very special, and I think they capture that vibe wonderfully because of that. There's some great tones, acoustic tones. It's fantastic. You know, Doyle sounds fantastic on the slide. It just shows how passionate Eric is about, you know, Robert Johnson. There was something, you know, more to him than just like a favorite musician or something. There's a deep connection Eric. And you can see they're really enjoying this. They capture the vibe wonderfully, like I said. You can see at the start of this, there's a section there where Doyle's mucking around. He's trying to show how he's playing the section, and he's doing a flamenco thing. And Eric goes, "That's not how it's played." And Doyle goes, "Yes, it is." And they're laughing. But you can see the boss thinks he's right, and Doyle sort of backs off. He's like, "Okay, I better let the boss be right again." But I will back up what you said there, Simon, about there's one section of the song where it flows, it picks up, like the tempo picks up and swings a bit more.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing and the connection between Doyle and Eric, which I mentioned before, is very apparent in this song in particular, because Doyle is all over the changes, the tempo change, everything that Eric does. He's right there. He doesn't miss a beat. He doesn't miss it. So it's a very passionate performance. So for that alone, I'll give it 10 out of 10. Never a skip. Eric sings wonderfully on this.
Yeah. He's really found his voice, isn't he? Doing, since the 90s, he's kind of settled into his voice, settled into the fact he can sing, really sing, and bring an expressive and emotion to the song. So, yeah, absolutely.
Some of the best vocals I've heard from him on this. Yes, some of, I said, not the best. Very good.
Qualifier.
Yeah. Andrew.
Well done, guys, and well done, Brad, for mentioning one of the keys to the DVD, and I was hoping that one of my co-hosts would do that. So this is an opportunity for me to jump in and back up Brad mentioning that they went back to the same room in the same hotel that Robert Johnson recorded these in, and the way that these guys are sitting there, the respect, the only way that I can explain it is it's like going to church for these guys, the reverence that they hold. It's a special moment. When I first saw this and witnessed this on this DVD when it came out in 2004, 2005, I'll admit it here on our show, I cried because I could pick up the sincerity that these guys had about that, and I just thought it was fantastic, and I still do to this day think that it's one of the greatest things that we've got by a contemporary blues man with his sideman, Doyle, who is brought up in the blues too, because Brad, his dad hung out with Stevie Ray Vaughan, wrote some of the greatest, so he's a So I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a standout. Will always be because of that a remarkable documentary of this of Clapton's career. Thank you.
No, well, I think it's important to mention it for the reason that it comes across in the performance. It's there. I got goosebumps even just watching that part in the sessions again.
Yeah, so I do look forward to the deep dive that we do on this, because that will be our channel's paying respects directly to Robert Johnson too, through doing this. So, and look, we're human beings, we're men. Places, buildings, events, they mean things. They mean things to us, Simon.
They do. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
And I think it's cool, that kind of pilgrimage thing, isn't it? To go back to the room which he recorded.
That's the word.
Pilgrimage.
That's the word.
Yeah. And I'm sure Eric feels that, doesn't he? Eric feels it be some sort of pilgrimage to go back.
In the little chatter that Eric talks about having to go there, you can tell he doesn't like to travel to certain places because he goes on about it being such a long way. It's such a long way to get to. So, yeah.
What, he's not in his Porsche.
No, his Porsche is just his daily car, mate. It's just the one he runs down to the supermarket to buy the groceries. Yeah, his Porsche.
You
Which
can't
Porsche?
you
Which
can't
Porsche?
get many. You can't get a lot of groceries in a Porsche. Could I just say you can't? It's not a great shopping car for all you shopping fans out there.
I'll deviate a little bit and we'll get back on track. But did you notice that they just showed his number plate and everything like in the footage? I thought,
yep,
that's someone write that down. I don't know what these days people can.
Was it EC1 or something? Is it?
That's it.
No, I can't remember what it was, but I didn't pay that close attention. But I saw his number plate. I was like, geez, most of the time they block number plates out. I don't know.
Well, so 2004, you might not have the car anymore, so it probably doesn't.
Who knows? No, it's just his daily runabout. He gives it to the missus to run down the supermarket to buy eggs and bacon.
If you can't recognise Eric Clapton in a Porsche, what are you doing? You don't need a number plate, do you?
But digital guitars is right. It's inspiring to watch, and I think this is going to be a documentary and a document, guys, that academics and enthusiasts will be talking about for a long, long time, long after we're gone. And who knows, Rock Professor? They might be quoting you and Brad in regards to some PhDs on music, because the Rock Professor and Brad said this on the 21st.
Therefore, it must be true.
2022.
The Rock Professor and Backdoor Man said this.
Slightly. I feel a slight cold, clammy hand on my spine. Somebody's quoting me in their PhD. Don't do that.
Organic fans have a voice, gentlemen. Remember that. No, we have a voice. We are part of the. Yeah. We're part of the voice.
Digital Guitar says, still be talking about the famous Brad score, 1,000 out of 110 or 100.
If someone talks about that in their PhD, I'll be very surprised.
That's a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a fact.
Oh my gosh. Let's crack on. Traveling Riverside Blues. Again, guys, we've heard so many versions. There's another band that we kind of like talking about, don't we? Just this little band of skinny English guys. They do a pretty good version of this song. But look, I think Jim earlier on in the chat made mention about Steve Gadd's drumming in relation to Sweet Home Chicago. For me, Simon and Brad, what really stands out about this is the way that Steve Gadd is playing drums. And I'm not a drummer, but he's behind the beat so well on this. It's remarkable. It's just remarkable how he does that, because he's not playing the same that he was on Sweet Home Chicago, which is in all fairness, even though it's a blues progression, it's played. And I'm just a guitar player. I'm not a trained musician, but it's played. I can hear ahead of the beat like a drum should be. Gadd's doing it a little bit slower on this, which is fantastic. It's amazing. I had to listen to it 3 or 4 times in a row just to hear that. And Brad, what's really nice about this is Doyle. You've made mention before about Doyle, but the way that Doyle plays slide on this, and he's the standout too on this song, Doyle. You watch the video. He's and isn't it amazing? Because I remember before I watched this DVD. And one of the great things about this DVD is that, that's not Clapton. And I remember when I that's not and it's like, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Doyle just grew in my mind, after, and I remember going back, having to watch this guy, and then we all knew that he had this weird guitar setup, so he plays the left-hand guitar strung for a right-hander, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he doesn't play left-hand strung for a left-hander. So and I'm going, and my head's going numb, crazy, because I'm trying to work out what just give up.
Hendrixification.
I just give word? Up. Yeah. Well, we make up words on this channel, don't we? So that's the Rock Professor's make-up word.
There you are. My made-up word for this week: Hendrixification. When you turn your guitar upside down and string it.
I wanted to give this a Brad score, but I went and listened to it. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It just about was going to be a Brad score, but I'm going to keep it as a 10 out of 10, and I hope my co-hosts don't put me in timeout because I've given it a 10 out of 10. Rock Professor.
No, you can't be in timeout for giving it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, okay. All right then.
Okay. It's fine. 4, yes, you can be in timeout for that. Yes, well, this is the as I said just now, the EP goes, band, acoustic, band, and this is the second band thing. I too made note of that kind of. Nobody swings like Steve Gadd, do they? I'm sure other people swing like Steve Gadd, but he makes these songs swing like a swing. It's amazing, and I no wonder everybody employs him, and he's one of the great drummers. And if you want some examples of it, these Sweet Home Chicago and this, which I think swings really hard as well.
Yeah,
and that's him setting it up, and playing it beautifully as a thing. So for me, he's one of the standouts on these tracks. I mean, just amazing playing. But I agree with you about Doyle Bramall. Clearly, it's his chance to shine, and shine he does. With his slide guitar work on this, fantastic. And I like the fact that that's another thing where everyone gets a chance, don't they? To shine and to, and this is Doyle's bit where he, comes to the fore and does a great slide guitar solo. And some slide work over the riff towards the end. 10 out of 10 for me. Never a skip. Fantastic. And it's a great version of it. Brad.
Awesome.
Well, there's not much left for me to say, guys. Thanks a lot.
You wanted to go third.
I was being fair. I was trying to be fair. Plus, I thought, I'm going to make you work a bit harder since you're on holidays, mate.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much.
Look, I'll echo everything both Andrew and Simon have said. I mean, for me, Nathan East and Steve Gadd are an amazing rhythm section. Gadd obviously holds back on that beat, and Nathan East is just locked in. Those two are like this, they're tight like that. And I love Eric's vocal on this song. I love his power. I love his voice when he gives a lot. Vocally, when he pushes, it's to me, it gives me goosebumps. I hear the woodiness in his voice. It's amazing, and I love that. But obviously, I've put, as both you have said, Doyle Bramall is the highlight of this song without a doubt.
Yep.
It's a fantastic version of the song. There's a few songs like you mentioned, the Zeppelin version, and theirs is a bit cheeky. That's their own version, but this is a bit more traditional, and it's a great version. And I won't double up on what both Simon and Andrew have said already, but I give it 10 out of 10. Never a skip. Fantastic.
Awesome, guys. I think we're on track. The last song on this EP that we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, it's an interesting song. There is a bit of a story to it, and we have to tell the story. Clapton's first venture into vocals, and we've ranked this on the epic Beano album. It's the last track on the Beano album, Simon and Brad, isn't it? And
yep.
You know, it was a track that Clapton didn't want to sing on, but John Mayall. Gosh, isn't John? We should just do a John Mayall program one day. John Mayall said no.
Yeah.
You got to do this, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop messing about and start singing. Off you go.
Yeah. Up it, and you know, and he did. And you know, Clapton talks about this song and that moment a few times, and you know, in interviews, and you know, I went and listened to this version of the song in comparison to the version that we're talking about here, and my gosh, there's no comparison between, you know, you've got a 22-year-old boy, and I forget how old Clapton is when he's singing this, but you're listening to a guy, Brad, with confidence. You know, clearly
late
he's had
50s,
those years under his belt of being able to have that voice that you mentioned before, that you love, that you rank as one of the greatest blues voices ever. So do I. And it, there's something, I don't know what spooky means, but I'm going to use that word. I don't know what it means, but there's something spooky about this song for me, eerie. And again, when I first heard it on this, you know, in this package, again, it blew me away. I have to. I can't say anything about the performance. It's just purely Clapton, ladies and gentlemen. You need to go and watch it. You need to go and listen to it if you're not familiar with it. This is a Brad score, beyond a doubt, because I've got this emotional thing to it. Because you know, I've got this 22-year-old boy in my mind too, Simon. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at this man now, and you know, and it's powerful in my mind. Brad score.
Yeah. Straight like that, Brad score. We couldn't even go through an EP without having a Brad score. Excellent. Well done. Yes, I don't have much to add. I have to say, as you say, purely Eric on his own playing, you know, and it is all about the performance, this, isn't it? It's about having the confidence to sit there just with an acoustic guitar and, you know, fantastic impassioned singing, you know, really, really, as we've said a lot on this, we'll reiterate, you know, he's in tremendous voice on this, you know, this particular track, and, you know, can carry it with ease, conviction, passion, all those things that, you know, that you need to have if you're going to do solo acoustic blues like this. You need to have all those things. You have the confidence to do it. And Eric has got the confidence and the, you know, the experience and the skills to make it his own. And for me, it's a fantastic version of it. Solo acoustic version. 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10. I don't think it matters really, does it? It's you know, it's great, really great. And hats off to him for it. Brad.
Look, rambling on my mind, hearing Eric play this song in this setting with just an acoustic guitar and a slide was wonderful. He clearly has a deep connection to this song. Eric has obviously done it, like Andrew explained, in, you know, John Mayall, and he's still performing it to this day.
Yep.
It's
a constant, isn't it?
And you know, that acoustic sounds fantastic. So big and full. You know, Eric settles into the song from the word go. He's such a seasoned professional, and you know, this is all I'll say about him. Clearly, Eric, despite the fact he doesn't see himself as a lead singer, he is an amazing singer. And this song in particular, highlights that for me. It's 100,000 out of 10. Never a skip. And honestly, I watched it like 20 minutes before we went live again, just on the DVD, and again I got goosebumps. And so yeah, well done, Eric. Amazing.
Look at that. We've reached a new height, 100,000 out of 10.
Yeah, but he's looking so good in this video too, doesn't he? He looks good. He looks, he's full of life, Simon, and he's just
he's in a happy place too. Yeah. It's his element.
Yeah.
Just recently married.
You can see also, though, he's very particular about, playing these songs respectfully.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, like I say, Brad and Simon, I look forward to doing the fuller DVD with you guys and talking a little bit more about it. And we'll break that up too, ladies and gentlemen, over a couple of shows. I can't see how we're going to do that over one show, and we might even bring in, when we do a couple of these shows, we might bring in some special guests just to jump in and maybe join us with the introduction, not necessarily rank the tracks with us, but maybe, just get them in and contribute to maybe that 20-30 minute round table that we have before we, and then jump into rankings. Maybe I'm just thinking out aloud. Maybe we might want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds fine. Yeah.
It's clearly going to be a 2-episode event.
Clearly.
Yeah.
How many tracks? 14 tracks. Oh, yes, 14 tracks is definitely
14 tracks, and they all deserve attention.
So
I mean, look, it's taken us an hour and a half to do 4.
I'm going to throw up some pics, ladies and gentlemen, that we sort of prepared. Yeah. So just hold on for a second. So. There he is there. He's doing some...
thank you.
Traveling in the Brad Cook T-shirt. See?
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's a great T-shirt. I wore it out last night as well.
Oh, there you go.
But there's Clapton. He's playing his crash guitar, which is an interesting guitar. We'll talk a little bit more about the gear that he used when we go through and do a fuller show on this, but Simon and I had the fortune to host a guy about 2 years ago, that's got a copy of this guitar. I've got to be honest and upfront with you guys. I was never really a fan of the crash guitar, of the paint job. I'll admit that.
He likes a colourful paint job, doesn't he, Eric? He's
Well, it sort of had a lot to do with fundraising for Crossroads and all that too. So, he's always looking at doing that, which is always a great thing. But there's a famous photo there of the rock professor when he was at high school.
looks like I've been playing paintball, doesn't it? Yes, in my suit.
Yeah.
Nobody looks less like Robert Johnson than me. Look at those hands.
Yeah. So that's an official photograph of Robert Johnson, and again, so this is Clapton there playing homage to obviously his greatest idol there. I've always loved that package, so I'm just going to drop that out. Brad, do you want to hold up your package there, the DVD package, and I'll isolate? I think it's just a fantastic package. There it is there. It's just, cool. That black and white. Doesn't do a lot, but boy, it's got a lot of punch to it.
Yeah, fantastic. The digipack was well worth the money. Fantastic.
Yeah. He's pretty good with his packaging, isn't he? He's pretty smart. Art school. That's why, Simon. Art school.
Yeah, art school. See, all those boys went to art school. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And hold on, guys, that flick through. So that's the room that we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's a still from the hotel room in Texas that Robert Johnson played, and if I remember rightly, he played his back was away from everybody, and he was just singing to the microphone.
Yeah. Look how young Doyle Bramall is.
Looks like Brad. With a bit of short hair there.
I think Brad looks like him.
Oh, God.
The great Billy Preston.
Yes.
That's Billy Preston, and, you know, another reason why you need to get this package, because the Rock Professor said, you know, Sweet Home Chicago, those stabs that he does on that keyboard, just to boost and fly that song, it's just, wow, effortless.
Yep. Oh, look at that beautiful guitar.
There he is playing his Birdland. And you get to see all that, you know. Again, you know, Brad mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, and the Rock Professor too, you can see the mechanics. You can see what he's doing. You can see the slide. You can see what string he's hitting. You can see the chords. It's a guitar, rock guitar, blues guitar player's manifesto. It's fantastic. And a bass player. You can see the bass. It's just, wow.
Yeah, fantastic.
And there he is there.
The master.
Yeah. Gosh.
Just the great Steve Gadd. Yeah. Nobody better than Steve Gadd, for sure. Different, but nobody better.
And for if you guys were terrorized by the first bit of clickbait, there's the second bit. And I'm going to stand by our channel. We use our own hosts as clickbait, ladies and gentlemen. We're not sponging.
We're not outsourcing. We're not outsourcing our clickbait, are we?
No, we're not sponging pics off the internet.
Oh dear.
I love
That's
it.
funny.
I love it. That's great. We have another professor.
What?
I was going to say, wouldn't it be funny? I just thought of something like you talk about clickbaits. Wouldn't it be funny if we were to do what? Imagine, I won't say it like I was going to, but think about it like this. Imagine every time there's a Brad score, a sound effect was played.
So it's interesting that you should talk about that, because I'm right in the middle of negotiating a sound effects thing here for our so we can have some claps and we can have some fart noises and all these kind of things. So be careful what you wish for.
$3 rebate. Yeah. I want my money back.
Did I really say that live?
Yeah,
are we live?
Yeah, we are.
We're live.
We are.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Dial it back, Brad. Dial it back.
Yeah, dial it back.
Lay off the salts. Oh dear.
So I'm just going to change the subject here. Gretsch Zeppelin is talking about getting a Gretsch. So can I show Gretsch Zeppelin my Gretsch?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. I've got a bit of news as well. Guitar news.
So this is a 6. Oh, hold on, Gretsch. I should know. It's oh, I'm blind as a bat. Hold on. Yeah, it's a 6120. It's the Player Series 6120. So it's a little bit thinner than like the sets of Gretsch. Hold on. There it is there.
Take the comment down, Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Get rid of the comment.
Sorry, Gretch.
There we are.
But
Gorgeous.
Yeah. It's got the Bixby on there. It's got the pinned bridge, and that's the treble bleed there, which is the overall master volume. But yeah, you can play it acoustically. Yeah, great guitar.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, money well spent there.
You've got well, look, you know, what you
it's
play
a
guitars
Gretsch.
and then you die. Is that how it goes? You play guitars and then you die?
Pretty much.
Be buried in them. You could be buried in a Gretsch because it's a semi-hollow.
Stick your ashes in there.
Yeah, that's right. Ceremonially burn it. Yes, 101 uses for a Gretsch. Oh dear. I was going to say that my exciting bit is when I get back from my holidays, I'm going to pick up my my Strat that's been refretted.
Oh, your Japanese one.
Done. Yeah, my 34-year-old.
It'll be a new guitar, Simon. I got my Clapton Strat refretted just after Christmas. Wow, it was just like a new guitar.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting it back because my Did I tell you this? I had it down with Johnny Kincaid to get him, who's my local luthier in Bristol. But he this is the power of YouTube. He appeared. He made an acoustic guitar for Daniel Steinhardt from that pedal show.
Yes.
And Daniel Steinhardt filmed the entire thing, and then 10 minutes later, Johnny's got 10 years worth of orders and has closed his books. So I'm thinking to myself, this refret is not going to happen anytime soon, is it? So I got a bit like, what am I going to do kind of moments, you know? And then I remembered that Chris Buck, whose t-shirt I'm wearing, cardinal black t-shirt. He bought a '62 Strat in a house auction in Pontypridd, I think it was. The preceding lot was some Tupperware, and then a '62 Strat.
See you, Jim.
Cheers, Jim. But he gave it to this guy called Hugh Price to do up, and I remember Hugh Price made some videos about it. So I thought, I wonder if he does refrets, and he does. So I took my guitar to see him, which is fantastic. So and he's finished it. He sent me some film of him doing it, smoothed out all the wrecked fretboard, and put some cool new frets in it. So I'm really looking forward to getting it back next Tuesday.
Awesome. We look forward to getting a report from you.
Yeah.
But, that segues to something that happened this morning to me. I was on a platform called Together, and I was talking with Philip Sace, and then one of the guys does.
Can we have a sound effect for that? Ding.
No,
I'm just talking to Philip Sace. One of the world's best, greatest guitar players. You know, we're just talking about what we had for dinner last night.
And a gentleman by the name of Aaron, who runs a pedal company called Dominion Fuzz, is kindly going to be pushing a pedal my way, so a fuzz pedal, and I'll be getting that at some point. So I'll be flying the flag for Dominion Fuzz down here in Australia for it.
So negotiating your own sponsorship deal.
Do you see
that, Mr. Walton? Do you see what he's doing there? He's just getting all this gear for himself, hoarding it for himself. Where's mine? Nowhere in sight.
No, honestly, you see,
I'm joking.
They're custom pedals. They're quite. He puts a lot of time and energy into these pedals, and everything he uses in them are, old stock, like, or
old components.
Stock,
Cool.
and his wife's Australian, and it's like his second home here. And he just sent a lovely message. I was taken back. I was floored. I nearly cried because I was like shocked that someone would. He said, if I supply this, would you be, use it? And obviously, whenever you don't feel like playing, pull the guitar pedal out and make some tones for yourself, like as a way to help you get back on the horse and ride properly. So
fantastic.
I'm just astounded by people's kindness in this world. It's amazing. So
mate, that's really cool, and you deserve it. We've been mucking about, but
and tell him we'll do what we can. We'll even do a video to help him on our channel for him. If he's done that for you, mate, we'll do. Yeah,
so
we'll do anything we can to help him.
I hope it's okay with you, gentlemen. I did invite him to come on and do a geek out of fuzz pedals and whatnot.
Oh, good, yeah. That'd be fantastic.
I'm not sure when that will happen, but and I'm not sure when this is, but that's I just got excited about gear too, because I don't,
good.
I don't normally do anything. I'm looking at getting a refret done on one, possibly two guitars as well.
Yeah.
So in the future, not too far away. My main Les Paul needs definitely needs a refret. So I'm starting to dig into the fretboard now.
Yeah, it has to be done, doesn't it? With the tools, I as I say, I think finding the right person is the thing, and I think Hugh was a really nice bloke, and clearly he also had a neck from a British blues guitarist called Ainsley Lister.
Yes.
So I was behind Ainsley Lister in the guitar refret. So I reckon if Ainsley Lister's using him, I'm in good hands.
Ainsley Lister is he's a
fine
rocker.
guitar player. Yeah,
we
absolutely.
know him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But so I figured that if he's doing Ainsley Lister's guitar, then I'm, as I say, and I'm all about the person as well. So I went and had a cup of tea and good chat with him and stuff. And he gets the idea that I've had this guitar for 34 years. It's not, it's part of me, that guitar.
Ainsley played with John Mayall too, didn't he?
Did he?
I think so.
Did he? I don't remember it. I mean, I've seen him once a long time ago. Ainsley Lister. I went a long time ago to see him. I didn't. I don't associate. I don't associate him with. I'm just going to have a look. No, I'm just going to have a look. Can't spell his name right, but anyway. Let's see if he. Let's see. He's got a DVD. He's got a DVD. He's got a Wikipedia page, idiot. I thought he's always kind of pretty much done his own thing.
Well, maybe I just saw him on stage then. Maybe I edit some.
He might have been,
somewhere.
Yeah.
And Mayall was there, but I know who he is. So that's good.
Yeah,
the Rock Professor's dropping names, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Our Rock
Go
Professor,
me.
Our Rock Professor.
I'll pass on. Because I'll do the right thing, and I'm definitely trying to help people that help me. So Dominion Electric, if you go to his Instagram page, he's got I don't know if you can see that, Dominion Electric. Andrew, can you highlight that for us?
Hold on, brother. Hold on.
Yeah. So Dominion Electric, some fantastic players. Nick 70, who we've spoken about on this channel, has done a lot of work with him on YouTube and displayed a lot of his pedals. And if you do go across, add yourself, send him a message and say Brad Cook said to say g'day. That'd be great.
If you're watching a replay, ladies and gentlemen, I will attach that. I'll get that website and I'll attach it to the comments.
Yes.
And do what Brad said. Brad Cook sent you. Yeah. Easy. There he is. That's Brad.
Just in case you're in any doubt.
Also known as D'Artagnan. Rock Professor, you've got the pick for next week, I understand.
I can't do next week, so I'll be in the air. I'll be on a plane next week, coming back.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Brad Cook has the pick for next week. So Brad Cook and I will be on. boring the pants out of yours.
Yeah. I'll be checking up on you from the airport, but
look, that's just fine. Okay, boys. I'll pick something. I'll pick the pieces up for you, Simon. Just when you get back, we're gonna have to crack the whip with you, buddy. Got a couple of weeks off, and only had 4 songs to rank this week.
What do you mean, a couple of weeks off? I'm doing this now. It's not having week off.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't think that they don't like EasyJet are not happy with you getting on the internet in mid-flight, are they? Yes. I've got a YouTube show to do. Very important.
Just tell them it's more important than us landing safely.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, don't you know who I am?
Ladies and gentlemen, so Brad's going to pick something in usual story. He'll release something on his Instagram. So if you're not familiar with how to find Brad, where's Brad? There he is there. Japanesey, easy peasy, at Brad Cook Music. And then you'll find the Rock Professor somewhere there, and you'll find me there too. So, but go and find Brad. And then later on in the week, I'll do something on our community page. And we'll rustle up something.
Yeah,
cool.
We'll scrape to get something off the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, don't want to run out of albums, do we? So careful.
No. That's the thing. I've got a bunch of albums I can think of right now, but I can't decide on one. So you'll have to check out my Instagram stories.
Cool.
That's it. And guys, please do me a favor. If you're watching a replay, we appreciate all the support you guys give us. Share our channel. We'll sub you back. Go to our channels page and you'll see Brad Cook. Brad's up the top there somewhere, especially Brad. Go and hit a sub on Brad and tell him that that we sent you. Just sub to Brad and everyone else that's on there, but especially Brad.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm miles away from 6,000 subscribers. I'm probably under 1,000. Yeah.
Well, look, I think what we need to do is we just need to make sure that we push all our friends' pages, and they're all on there. And if you guys want to be on there, go on there and. Subbing to things, I think, is an interesting thing. It's an interesting, what is it? It's I watched this video. YouTube throw out some of these videos that they give to content creators, and they said, sometimes you got to make it easy for people to sub. You got to if someone has to go to 3 places to find you to sub, they're not going to do it unless you're something else. If you're just normal, you got to make it easy. So the fact that people have been sharing our channel is, I think, been easy for people to sub. So and maybe what we need to do next week, Brad, when we're live, I'll get up our screen and I'll show people. Maybe people don't know. Maybe they don't know where the community page is. I don't know. So we'll show people where the community page is, where you are, and maybe do it that way. So why not, Simon? Why not? Why not just help people a little bit more?
Yeah, and also I think that actually supporting your local musicians by subbing, it's not a bad idea. To be honest, Brad is a musician. He produces his own songs. He's your own stuff, and should be applauded in every way because it's difficult, and and therefore a bit of support. I mean, never mind me. I don't do anything, but you do proper stuff and produce music, and therefore support for you is important.
Oh, thanks, Simon.
Mate, I'm sorry. We haven't put your page on there.
Well, my YouTube page.
No, I don't think we've put the Rock Professor's channel on our.
Don't worry about that. It's fine. It's I've got 73 subscribers, and I'm profligate in my content creation. No, I'm not.
Well, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, please just, subbing to channels is easy. It doesn't cost you a thing. No. It doesn't cost you a thing to be nice, to support people like us and other people that want to do their things, and it's paying back to us, because clearly we're getting the views, Simon and Brad, and people think that
fantastic.
What we're doing.
Subbing to creative musicians is really important, because that's the way it works. This is the way the current model is. And supporting Brad as a as a musician and as a creative musician writing his own stuff, I think is really important. So go and sub to him if you haven't.
Thank you, Simon. I appreciate that. But honestly, I'm just another musician like yourself, Simon, and another musician like yourself, Andrew, are just doing something different. That's all. We're all the same, really, when it comes to it.
That's not what Philip Sace says.
No, that's not what I say about Philip Sace either. But anyway,
well, well, if Philip Sace says you are, then you are.
Well, he knows best, doesn't he?
Well, clearly that's better than me, but that's fine. But I'm just saying, if Philip Sace says, that has some weight and some credence and some truth to it. And so, therefore,
John, are you going to be around next week? If you're going to be around next week and you want to jump on and be the third wheel on this
time to fly
on this racket
petition, he's starting a petition. Well done.
We won't necessarily be ranking that because I've got plans for that. Time to fly, but if you want to join us on anything that Brad picks, just keep that thought though under your belt, because we've got plans for Time to Fly. So John's going to see what he can do. All right, well, let us know if you want to jump on. It'll be good to have you on because you've been on the channel before. You got a bit of an idea of what we do here. But I'm going to say thank you to my co-hosts. As usual, you guys have been brilliant. Another great show. I do look forward to hanging out with you guys, doing this masterpiece, this modern masterpiece with you guys. Boy, we've got some good stuff to do, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
It's safe to say it's a 2-episode event to rank this properly.
For sure. Shall I say goodbye to everyone in the chat?
Just hold on for a second. I'll get Brad to say goodbye, and then you can say goodbye to everybody, and then and then you can say goodbye, and then we'll pull the trigger. What do you reckon?
All right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us this evening. It's been wonderful. It's clearly one of our favorite performances from Eric. So hopefully that if you haven't listened to it for a while or you haven't watched it for a while, we've influenced you enough to go put it on and see what you think. And hopefully you enjoyed as much as us. And thank you so much to everyone for subscribing. 6,000 subscribers. We will celebrate properly once the Rock Professor's back. Who knows? We might be close to 7 by then, so we'll see. I don't know. It's the fear of the unknown, or fear of missing out. We don't want you to miss out, mate. So, but thank you, and thank you to everyone who watches our episodes after. We get a lot of views after, and that's something that we are very proud of. And thank you so much. We're humbled by it, and I'll pass it over to the Rock Professor. But thank you.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. It's fantastic. So today, thanks to John ZD351. So you're on in the Rock Professor's hot seat next week, John, if you want to. Nelson Rodriguez, as always, Digital Guitars UK. Thanks, Digital. Derek Clapton, who's just woken up. So good to see you, Derek. Thanks for your support, mate. It's fantastic. Hope you enjoy the show. Going up, Jazz Thunder 50. Jim, thanks, Jim. Arvin, Gret Zeppelin. Look at that. Got good Crappy Luxury as well. Crappy, thanks, Crappy, for your contributions. Keep me on the straight and narrow. Going further up. Will Varela as well. Thanks, Will, for dropping by. Tim Thomas. So Hugh Caldwell. Hugh, get in touch with Andrew. We can arrange something because it'd be good to have you on because I know you do quite a lot of content creation as well. Amanda Coombs as well. Thanks, Amanda, for dropping by. Good to see you. And rolling back up towards the top. Ellen as well. Yes, thanks, Ellen, for your continued support. Fantastic. And I think that is probably everyone who dropped by. So thanks, everyone, for your support. Have a good week. And I won't see you next week. I'll see you in 2 weeks. But the boys will be back. Stronger than ever.
We'll be back in town.
The boys are back in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Keep those hands up. Gotta find this. Where is it?
Multitasking, waving and clicking at the same time. Oh.
No, it's not that one.
Look at that. Supporting your local musician.